Hi, I'm Kevin James Jackson, and welcome to another edition of Your Journey. As always, I am honored and privileged that you will allow me some of your time in your life to present a video to you, hopefully message of hope, of inspiration, and of motivation. Remember, I want to give whatever I have to you, and I'm definitely hoping that this is something that you can take with you and you can use in your life. Remember, all my videos are about self-love and self-care, and this video is about that as well. Before I get into what this video is about, I want to share with you a story about myself. Like I said in previous videos, I'm not ashamed to talk about myself, talk about my life, talk about things I went through on this journey, on my journey to get where I am, to kind of evolve into the man that I have evolved into. Because at the time that I was going through those things, I felt like I was alone. I felt like I was by myself. And I felt like nobody was going through the things that I was going through. And it made me feel even more insecure, made me feel dumb, made me feel stupid. So that's why I kind of explain and talk about things that happen in my life, because I don't want other people to think that they're alone in their struggle. We're all in this together, and we all are on a journey. And this story here is going to kind of give you an idea of what this show is about. And I will definitely explain it at the end of the story about my life that I'm about to tell you. This story I'm about to tell you is true. It's not a lie. It's definitely true. Okay. I went to, like I said in my previous show, I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale for college. And I was in the College of Business, and I was in the accounting program. Now, I wanted to be an accountant ever since I was a sophomore in high school. And believe it or not, my high school had accounting classes back then. And so I was in the accounting classes, and I had 2 accounting classes, and they were kicking my butt. I mean, I was struggling big time in those accounting classes. And 2 of the professors I had, they were jerks. They were pricks. But they were good teachers. I'm going to give them credit. They were great teachers. And they knew accounting. I mean, they knew it like the back of their hand. But they were real straightforward type of guys. So I was really struggling in my accounting classes. And so we had got, and also in the College of Business, you know, you had a university grade point average, and each college had their own grade point average. So normally the college grade point average is a little bit higher than the university grade point average. So at the College of Business grade point average, I was right there at the cusp. Right there at the cusp of, you know, falling below and being kicked out because my grade point average was so low. I was right there at the cusp. So I had 2 accounting classes, and like I said before, I was struggling. So I went to take a final in this one accounting class, and the final was like 3 hours long. So, and I studied. I mean, I was studying 7 days a week. I was putting in tons of hours just trying to keep up with all the stuff that was going on in accounting. And so when I went to take the accounting final, my professor was very patient. He wasn't the type of man that would 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You know, he just sat there. So everybody was gone. Everybody was gone. I was the last person there to take an exam. And as a matter of fact, my time was up. And I went like 10 minutes over. And my professor, he didn't say anything. He just sat there. He was doodling or whatever he was doing. And so I got nervous because I was scared eventually he was going to come and tell me, hey, you know, your time is up, Mr. Jackson. So afterwards, I'm like, you know, I think I did good. I was confident in the final. So I got up and I got my backpack and put my books and stuff in. So the professor saw me getting up, so he got up. So he got up and started collecting his stuff. And so as I was walking down, I handed my exam. And I said, you know, here, professor, here's my exam. He said, well, son, how do you think you did? I said, I think I did pretty good. I said, I think I'm going to score really high on this exam. And I said, because I really, really want to be an accountant. He said, you do? I said, yeah. So he took my exam and read the first 2 questions. And he said, no, you don't. And put the exam in his briefcase and walked off. And I sat there and I'm like, oh my God, what did he mean by that? So by that time, you know, I had no confidence. My self-esteem is low. I ain't got no confidence. I don't feel good about myself, anything. So when he said that, that sent me, my negative thoughts just went through the roof. Like, oh my God, you know, what did he mean by that? Did I fail? Oh my God, I can't fail this class because I'm gonna get kicked out. So I started panicking, and even in my mind, I try to be optimistic. I'm like, well, those are only 2 questions. I could have aced the other part of the test. So anyway, this was right before Christmas break. And what I didn't want to do is I did not want to go home without checking my grades. And so back in the day, what they used to do, they used to put a Scantron sheet, but put a sheet of all the sections on the classroom that you attended, like the different sections. And they had the social security number and the grade by your social security number. So I went by all my classroom and checked all my grades before I left to go home for Christmas break. And I didn't make it. I didn't pass either one of my accounting classes. So I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna kick me out. They're gonna kick me out. What am I gonna do? Accounting is the only thing I've thought about ever since I've been 15 years old. I don't know any other college, any other majors, nothing else I want to do. So I made up my mind to go talk to this guy. His name was Michael Haywood. Michael Haywood was a black counselor in the College of Business. Matter of fact, Michael Haywood was the only black faculty member in the College of Business. I'm talking about professors, associate professors, teachers assistants, administrative assistants, custodians, engineers, whatever. He was the only black man in there. And Mike Haywood knew me because Michael Haywood, he had formed a group called Blacks in Business. And it was a group for all the blacks that was in the College of Business in order to, and he organized this group to build a support system for us, to be able to, get the support that we need in our classes, to stay on track, and also talk about any prejudice or any systemic racism that we encountered in our classroom with our professors. So I would always go to the meetings. I think they was like once a month, so I would always go to the meeting. Plus, Mike used to play basketball with us. So I went and talked to Mike. I said, hey, Mike, look, I'm about to get kicked out. I'm about to get kicked out of the College of Business, man. I can't get kicked out. He said, well, how do you know, Jack? They used to call me Jack in college. I said, well, I want to check my grades. So Mike was like, well, the only thing you got to do, you got to go talk to Associate Dean Larry. I forgot his last name. He said, you got to go talk to him, now. And so again, you're talking to a guy that's a coward. I mean, I'm a coward. I'm scared. And so I'm like, no, Mike, I'll talk to him after Christmas break, because at that time I couldn't think on my feet, and I needed time to practice and what I'm going to say to him, how I'm going to respond, and how he's going to react. And Mike said, Kevin, he said, Jack, there's 3 reasons why you shouldn't do that. And I said, what 3? He said, 1, that man is going to be on Christmas break as well. And he's not going to want to come back to work. I don't know any man that want to come, any person that want to come back to work after Christmas break. So he's going to be a little bit annoyed about that. That's number 1. Number 2, all the other kids are going to be at home, and they're going to get their grades, and they're going to fall below the grade point average too, and they're going to get kicked out. So when you come back, that's going to be a long line of students waiting to talk to the associate dean. And he said, number 3, by the time he gets to you, he would have heard your excuse 100 times. And how much empathy do you think he's going to have for you when he's heard what you're about to tell him 100 times? He said, you got to go talk to him right now. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm scared. I'm a coward. I'm shaking like a stripper. So I'm like, something? Fine. So I went and made an appointment, and I had to come back the next day. So I went back the next day, and so his administrative assistant went and got him. He came out the office. He was a small man, very distinguished. He had a thin beard that connected into a goatee, very stoic affect, and very straightforward. But he was very cordial. He said, hey, Mr. Jackson. He said, come on in. So I walked into this office. He had a huge office. It was dimly lit, and beautiful furniture. Had a big mahogany table. So he said, Mr. Jackson, sit here. And he sat there, and he had a folder in front of him. And so he started small talk. He said, well, Mr. Jackson, where are you from? I said, I'm from Chicago. He said, are you going back to Chicago? You going to go on vacation for Christmas break? And so we just sitting there talking. And he said, yeah, me and my family, we're going to go on vacation, and then, rejuvenate, come back to school. You're a Bulls fan. You're a Bears fan. What do you think their season's going to be? So we just doing a lot of small talk. So then finally he said, okay, Mr. Jackson, why are you here to see me? And when he said that, he did this. He put his elbow on the table and he did this. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He didn't move. He didn't adjust his seat or anything. So I said, well, Mr. Such and such, I said, I'm an accounting major. And I said, I've been struggling in accounting. I said, but I don't want you to think that I took it lightly and that I wasn't studying. I said, I was really studying my butt off. And I said, I really want to be an accountant. I said, I've been wanting to be an accountant ever since I was a sophomore in high school. And then I started talking to him about my struggles in college, because I had a lot. I mean, it took me a lot to get to that point. A lot of struggles. And again, I'll tell you about it in future shows. I ain't got nothing to hide. And I said, so, for me to get to this point and be so close to graduating, be so close to being an accountant, I'm scared. It's hurtful to me that, I might not fulfill that dream. So my emotions started bubbling up. And so I started crying. And so as I'm crying and I'm talking to him, I'm trying to explain to him. And then something inside of me said, give up. Just give up and quit and just go home, because it's over. So then I said that in my head. So when I said, something, maybe college is not for me. Maybe I'm too dumb or too stupid to be in college. And he sat up, he said, stop. And he said, don't you ever in your life, ever, let me hear you make those statements again. Do you hear me, Mr. Jackson? And I kind of sat back and I was like, yes, sir, I hear you. And he opened the folder. And he said, you belong here. You belong in college. And he said, and he opened the folder. He said, I've been looking at your transcripts. He said, you're right. You're struggling in accounting. He said, but you are excelling in business law, finance, business management, and marketing and advertising. He said, he said, you are doing excellent in these classes and you're struggling in accounting. He said, now I'm not a career coach, but if I was a career coach, I'll be steering you more towards this major in business and in marketing and advertisement. He said, that's where I see your strength at. And I do see you struggling in accounting. He said, and I know what you're thinking, that accountants, when they graduate, they're going to make all this money and you want to make the money. He said, but do you know that if you go into business management or marketing, he said, do you know that in 5 years, you'll be making the same amount of money as an accountant? He said, now listen, if you were to change your major and want to be in a marketing major, he said, I'll let you back in right now without even blinking an eye, without no hesitation. I'll let you back in. He said, but listen, don't let me change your mind. Please don't change it for me. He said, if you still believe in your heart and in your mind that you are an accountant and you want to be an accountant, then you stick with your guns. You don't let me sway you one way or the other. But he said, I need to be honest with you. If you tell me you want to stay in accounting, he said, I'm going to have to think about it, Mr. Jackson. He said, I'm really going to have to think about it. So he said, this is what I want you to do. He said, I want you to go home over the Christmas break, and I want you to think about it. He said, I'm going to make you the first person I see when we get back from Christmas break. I'm going to make you the first person I see. He said, I really want you to think about it. And then when you come back from Christmas break, he said, you sit down and let me know your decision, because I'll make you the first person I see. He said, is that fair? I said, oh my God. It's fair. I said, I appreciate it. I thank you for that. He said, listen, he said, you're going to be okay, Mr. Jackson. He said, you're going to be fine. He said, I don't want you to think about this. I don't want you to worry about this. He said, what I want you to do is I want you to go home. I want you to enjoy your beautiful family and your friends. I want you to enjoy the Christmas holidays. I want you to enjoy New Year's, and I want you to enjoy your Christmas break, because you're going to be fine. And I'm going to see you when we come back off Christmas break. I'm like, cool. So we walked down and he talked to the administrative assistant. He said, listen, make Mr. Jackson the first person I see when he get back in. I don't care who's on my schedule. Make him first. She was like, yes, sir. So she gave me an appointment. Boom. I left, went home Christmas break. I came back. Like he said, he made me the first person he saw. I went to his office. He said, hi, Mr. Jackson. Like I said, he went into, the small talk. How was your Christmas break? How was the family? Did you do anything? Did you go anywhere? And then he started talking about his family and the things they did on their vacation. And then he talked about the Bears and the Bulls and how they're doing in the season and all this sort of stuff. So then he said, okay, Mr. Jackson, what's your decision? I said, well, Mr. Such and Such, I said, I thought about marketing. I said, I really like marketing. I said, because marketing is like psychology. It's like coming up with advertisement in order to get people to purchase this product, to promote it, and believe and trust in this product to buy it. It's like a lot of psychology, and that's what I love. And I'm really into that. And I'm really into also the business management part of that. I said, I really do like it. I said, if accounting wasn't my major, I would definitely go into marketing. And I said, it didn't hit me until you brought it to my attention. I said, so yes, I definitely want to change my major to business management and marketing. And he said, that's a great decision, Mr. Jackson, because if you had to stay with accounting, I wasn't going to let you back in. And just like that, he was straightforward, no chaser. He was just straightforward. And without breaking a stride, without breaking a momentum in his conversation, he said, I wasn't going to let you back in. Here's your schedule. I made out your classes. You got 5 classes. And I know you can do it, and I know you can pass it. He said, you're going to be a little bit behind, so you're going to have to do an extra semester because, you switch your majors, but that's okay. I know you can do it. He said, just go in there, pick out your section, pick whatever section you want. My signature is on here. That's going to get you in whatever section you want to be in. And he said, I'll see you at graduation. He said, next time I see you, it'll be graduation when you walk across the stage, and I'm going to shake your hand. And I thanked that man. I was so happy. I thanked him profusely. And it's like the weight of the world came off my shoulders, right? And so I'm skipping out the hall, out his office. I'm skipping out the outer office. And I go into the hallway as I'm going back to my dorm. Going to the data entry people to get my schedule. And I walk, and there was a long line of people waiting to see him all the way out the door. And I sat up there, I'm like, oh my God. Thank God. And these 2 men changed the trajectory of my life. These 2 men. They didn't give me no money. They didn't give me no car. They didn't buy me no clothes. They didn't buy me a house or anything like that. It's the fact of what they did for me. Touched me at such a level that I've never forgotten about that. And we talking about the 80s, and I've never forgotten about that. I never forgot that man. I never forgot Michael Haywood and what they did for me in my life and helped me to continue along in my evolution to the person that I am now. And it was just a small adjustment. Now, Mike, I always was friends with and was cool with, but Larry, I met that man 3 times. 3 times. And he saw in me some things I couldn't even see in myself. And he believed in me more than I believed in myself. And he was determined to give me another chance. In other words, he was just given to give. He didn't have to. He really didn't have to. But he did. So that's what this show is about. This show is about giving. This show is about giving love to other people. So when I want to challenge you, I want to give you 4 challenges. I want to give you 4 challenges, all right? And here are the challenges. I want you to pick, as I'm talking, it's going to show up on your screen so you'll see it. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to pick 5 people to send love to. 5. And these people, there's some rules to it. So these people have to be somebody you haven't communicated with in a long time. It can, it doesn't have to be somebody you're mad with, or upset with, or don't like, or whatever. It's just you all haven't communicated in a while. Or it could be somebody you're mad with, upset with, or haven't communicated with in a while. Or it could be somebody that you know that's having a difficult time during this year, during this pandemic, that's alone or lonely. Or it could be somebody that you don't know. It could be somebody that's friends with your family members, your relatives, or a family friend, or you know through social media, and you accept their friendship because they're friends with somebody else or somebody that you know. Or it could be a first responder, or it can be a principal, teacher, social worker, nurses, psychologists. But I want you to pick 5 people, 5 of them, that you barely know or haven't spoken to in a long time of that category. And what I want you to do is I want you to send them some love. All right? Now, that's the first challenge. All right? Now, let's go to the second challenge. The second challenge is, this is how I'm going to define love. All right? I want you to either send them a poem, a picture, a quote, a song, or write a verse from a song. This is what you're going to send them. This is love that you're going to send that person, that individual. Now, here's the other challenge that I want to push you on. All right. The third challenge is that poem, that quote, that picture, that song, or that song verse has to be specifically for that individual person. Now, you may not know them or you may not have a lot of information about them, but what you can do is you can either look at that post or go from their post and see what they're like, or somebody you may know, or their profession. You can go by their profession to curtail that special love specifically for them, and you can only use it once. You cannot use it any more than one time for that one specific person. All right? Now, here come the last and final challenge. The last and final challenge is this, is that I want you to send it by Thanksgiving Day. The reason that I'm giving you time is because I know that it's going to take time for you to think of that person and to think how to come up with a poem, to search for a poem or a quote or a song verse specifically for that person. So by Thanksgiving, that should give you enough time to send it to that individual person. Now, I also want to tell you that you can send it to as many people as you want to. As many people as you want to send it to that are loved ones, that's close to you, that you love or whatever. You can send it to anybody you want to. But I just want you to specifically send it to those 5 people. Because like my story did, though, that may touch somebody. That may change somebody. That may give somebody hope. That may give somebody inspiration. That may start that person on their journey and their path. And it may be just what they need. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm going to tell you another short story. It's going to be a short story. A colleague of mine, she's a psychologist for Chicago Public School. She had given me this book called The Black Swan. It's a short book. And it was a difficult read. It was a difficult read for a couple of reasons, because it took me a while to get adjusted to the reader and how the reader was writing. And then the subject matter was very painful. I mean, it was a very painful subject matter and book and content that she was writing about. And so, basically the book was about forgiveness. But there was 2 things in the book that really that stayed with me until this very day. One of the things the book said was, you give to give. You give to give. And I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. So this exercise is for you to give to give. And when you give to give, that means you're not expecting anything in return. You don't want anything in return. You're just giving it from your heart. And you're spreading love. And when you give to give, it fills you up. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel better to the point where you think you're selfish, right? So that's why I want you to do it. And also, it lets you be in control. You're in total control because you're giving of yourself. And so it's kind of, so when you give of yourself, you're getting it back. And it's part of your self-care and your self-love. For example, when you go and volunteer at a food pantry, or you volunteer to go clean up the church, or you buy somebody a coat and shoes, or you feed a homeless person, or you help clean up the sidewalk, or cut somebody's grass, or help somebody across the street. You're giving to give, and that makes you feel good. That fills you up, and you're not empty inside. And so that's what this is about. This is about giving to give and spreading that love to everybody so everybody can feel it. Freely ye give, freely ye receive. And the other flip side of that, what I read in the book is never give to get. And what I mean by that is that you have loved ones that you love, like your significant other, your wife, your boyfriend, your brothers, your sisters, your niece, your nephews, everybody. And so when they call on you, you have no problem being there for them and giving to them, right? But then you also want it to be reciprocated. Not saying that you want to get back what you give them, but you may be in a weak state and you call them and they don't pick up or don't return your call for 2 or 3 days. And that hurts. That hurts because you're giving and you want something in return. You want that person to be there for you. So when you give to get, it's like you're expecting something in return. The other flip side of that is you have people that give you stuff and expect you to give it back to them. Like they'll give you a little and expect a lot back from you. And what that does is that drains you. It leaves you feeling empty inside. It makes you leave you feeling unloved, unwanted, alone, and lonely. And you feel like you don't have any control of your life. And so it's something that eats away at you. So that's why I wanted to do this for you, is to give and let you know how good you will feel. Like now, I'm doing these videos, man. I love doing these videos. It makes me feel so good and I get so much out of it. And I'm not looking for anything in return. Honest to God, I'm not. And when people reach out to me and say, man, that was a great video. Thank you. Keep it going. Keep doing this. Keep doing that. That makes me feel good. And that energizes me and motivates me to continue to keep doing these videos. So that's why I'm doing this video, is I want you to give and let you, so you can see how good you feel, but also how you will bless somebody else along the way. All right? Great. So those are the challenges that I'm presenting for you. I'm doing the challenges as well. Now, also, I want to talk to you about this. Again, this is the index cards. Remember, whatever information I give you, I want you to be able to start it right now and today and not spend any money, not spend money on books or anything like that. I want to keep it minimal. But remember, I told you the index cards are my friend. I love my index cards. So I'm doing a challenge as well. So what I did was I got 5 index cards and I wrote their names on them. And I wrote their profession on there or what they're doing on there. And so now I'm in a process now of finding poems or songs or pictures or quotes or something like that that fits specifically with that person. And I'm a visual learner. That's how I learn. I learn through seeing it and tactile, like putting it together and touching it. So seeing the cards, seeing their names kind of helps me to think of different poems or different things that I can have, so I can send it to them either through Facebook or Instagram or through a text message if I have their number, or through messaging. I'm not going to send it through Facebook publicly because they may not, some people may be sensitive like that and don't want people to know it, don't want people to see it. So I'm going to send it through Facebook messaging. And if they want to post it and make it public or put it on their wall, I don't have no problem with that. I don't have an issue with that or problem with that at all. But that's my process of thinking. So that's why I love index cards. Okay. So that's my challenge to you. And I truly hope that you take it upon yourself, and I guarantee you will love it, you will feel good, and you will have a great time. Also, before I forget, because I got a lot of things on my mind, I forget things. A couple of people have asked me about my contact information. So I'm going to put here's my contact information, and it'll also be at the end of the video. My private email account is kevin.jackson, Jackson, 45 at yahoo.com. And as you can see, my Facebook name is Kevin James Jackson. You see my Instagram and you see my Twitter. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not really an Instagram or Twitter person, but if you want to send me stuff, I would definitely accept it. I'm more of the Facebook person. I definitely check my emails all the time, as often as possible. So if you send me a Facebook request and then want to message me through Messenger, that's fine. Or if you want to send me an email, that's fine as well. I don't have a problem with that. Listen, and you don't have to contact me. Please understand, you don't have to contact me at all. If you ain't got to like the video, you ain't got to contact with me, you ain't got to do anything, even if you don't like the video. Because I'm not doing this to get likes or to be famous or to be rich. I'm doing this because this is something that I feel that I have to do. And I feel that because it's inside of me and I got to get it out, because I feel that being a social worker in Chicago Public Schools is not enough for me. It's not fulfilling enough. But I do feel a lot of fulfillment when I do these videos and put them out for you. So honestly, if you don't want to contact me, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not offended. I'm not upset. But for people who want to or just curious, the information is up there, and I'll also put it again at the end of this video. As always, thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in your home. Thank you for the time that you've given me. I truly appreciate it. I wish nothing but love, blessings for you on your journey. Like I always said, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And this is from my heart. Oh, and one final thing. This saying here is from John Coltrane. And he says, one positive thought create millions of positive vibrations. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create millions of positive vibrations, love vibrations. That's why I want to call it love vibrations. So as always, I am humbled, I am privileged, and I am so thankful and honored that you've given me this time. I truly appreciate it. And like always, I wish you nothing but happiness, love, and blessings on your journey. And I hope that this video is definitely inspirational, motivational, and I hope that it gives you hope. Like always, thank you so much. And I'm wishing you the greatest of holidays with your family, social distancing, of course, and following CDC guidelines, of course. But I'm hoping that you have a great holiday, and I hope that you are around people that love you and want to be around you, and you're around those people as well. If you are not, again, it's about self-love and self-care. Just being with yourself on a holiday is a great thing. And don't sell yourself short. Go out and get that dinner. Go out and get you something to eat. Go out and get you something to drink or buy you something to wear, and plan your whole day on your whole day of how you're going to spend Thanksgiving, because you are worthy. You are worthy. You are who you've been waiting for your whole life. So please, don't feel down, don't feel bad, but enjoy yourself, because this is about self-love. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, happy Thanksgiving and much love to you. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Thank you so much. Bye.